You drift into sleep, but not knowing you're carrying today's noise into tomorrow, thoughts unprocessed, emotions unchecked, dreams unfocused. Yet each night offers a silent doorway to clarity, strength, and direction. Do this one thing before you sleep, and you'll train your mind to rise stronger, calmer, and more certain every morning. In a few moments, I will teach you a simple nightly practice that resets your mind, strengthens your focus, and begins to change your life. One night at a time, sit with silence before sleep. Each night, just before you retire to bed, there lies an opportunity, an overlooked window of power. The world has gone quiet. The voices of others no longer ring in your ears. It's now just you and your mind. But most waste this hour. They toss and turn, filled with scattered thoughts, replaying the events of the day like a broken record. But what if you used this silence, not to worry, but to command? Think for a moment. What if every night became a private council with your highest self? There's a reason the wise and powerful from ages past retreated into solitude. It is in stillness that clarity is born. If you can't control your thoughts in silence, they will surely control you in chaos. But when you sit still, when you listen, you begin to hear something greater. Your direction, your doubts, your inner guide. So how do you start? You simply close your eyes. You breathe deeply. You let the noise of the day settle. You do not reach for distractions. You reach inward. Ask yourself, did I live with purpose today? Did I give in to fear, or did I act with courage? Let these questions guide you, not to guilt, but to growth. Can you meet yourself with truth before you close your eyes? Rehearse tomorrow in advance. You wouldn't build a house without a blueprint. So why step into a new day without a plan? Each night, you're handed a chance to shape tomorrow before it even begins. Most people drift into their day reacting. You, however, can rehearse it, direct it, command it. A commander doesn't charge into battle without surveying the field, and neither should you. Each night, play tomorrow in your mind like a reel of film, not passively, but with vivid authority. Picture the moment you rise, the first words you'll say, the kind of energy you'll bring into your work, your relationships, your purpose. Imagine the challenges too. Will you be patient when someone tests you? Will you rise when things go wrong? You already know what tomorrow holds: distractions, tests, decisions. So why not prepare? Victory belongs to the one who is ready. Ask yourself, are you showing up prepared, or are you gambling with chance? When you rehearse tomorrow tonight, you make choices with purpose, not pressure. You shape your day instead of being shaped by it. The difference between a master of life and a servant of circumstances: one prepares, one hopes. Who will you be when the sun rises? Out for every word and deed. As night falls, so should your pride. Not in shame, but in truth. The darkness is not an enemy. It is a space of reflection. The world grows quiet so your mind can grow honest. In that silence, your ego has no one left to impress, no audience to perform for, just you. You and the choices you made. If you run from this moment, you'll keep running. But if you face it, you'll grow. You cannot evolve if you cannot confront. Every day leaves behind a trail: words, silences, actions, inactions. And every night gives you a key. The key to review, repair, and rise stronger. But you must choose to use it. Many refuse. They numb themselves with distraction. They pretend they did no wrong. But ignorance breeds weakness. Awareness, that's where your strength sharpens. Reflection is not about guilt. It's about craftsmanship. Imagine a swordsmith inspecting his blade under moonlight. He doesn't weep over imperfections. He studies them because he's building something worthy. You're doing the same. Examine your day like a master examines steel. Did your words uplift? Did your silence protect or betray? Did you move with intention or surrender to laziness? Powerful men are not afraid of correction. They pursue it because each mistake carries a message if you listen, if you can see it. But sight comes from stillness. You must sit with the day. Recall what you said, where you hesitated, where you lied, where you were strong and where you weren't. Not to break yourself down, but to build yourself up. This isn't about punishment, it's about preparation. You're not reviewing your day to suffer, you're sharpening your sword. Every observation becomes an edge. Every admission becomes armor. That's how the great move forward, quietly, intentionally. They confront themselves long before the world gets a chance. Those who never look within wander life blind, pointing fingers at everything but themselves. But you confront, you refine, You lead. That's where transformation begins. Not in changing the world, but in mastering yourself first. You accept responsibility, not because it's easy, but because it's powerful. Each night, you're presented with a choice. Review or repeat. Confront or avoid. Sharpen or surrender. Most choose comfort, but not you, because you know that the man who faces himself in the dark walks clearer in the light. Every night becomes your forge, every mistake a chance to rise anew. So, ask yourself now, will you face yourself in the dark, or wait for the world to expose what you could have fixed? Either way, truth will come. The wise choose to meet it alone. The weak are dragged into it publicly. And you are not weak, so sit, remember, refine, and rise. Forgive without permission. Some nights you carry burdens that were never yours to bear. Words spoken in anger, silence where support should have been, a look that wounded, a betrayal that lingers. These things cling to your spirit like smoke to cloth. You take them home, you replay the moment, you relive the pain, and without realizing it, you go to bed carrying the weight of someone else's failure. But here's a truth you must carve into your soul. Nothing poisons your peace faster than the refusal to release. Every night gives you a choice, a fire. Not to burn yourself, but to burn what must not follow you into tomorrow. The offenses, the disrespect, the rejection, the misunderstandings. You are not a landfill for emotional debris. You are a temple, a forge. And this fire, this ritual of letting go, is how you keep your inner world clean, clear, and unburdened. You must forgive, not because they deserve it, not because it didn't matter, but because you matter more. Forgiveness is not about pretending it didn't hurt, it's about refusing to let it keep hurting you. It's not for their peace, it's for yours. You cannot rise strong tomorrow if your heart is heavy with yesterday's residue. You cannot build the future while still shackled to the past. Forgiveness does not mean approval, it means release. It means saying, I won't carry you anymore. Picture the man who disrespected you, the friend who let you down, the person who twisted the knife and walked away. You may have every reason to hold your anger, but ask yourself honestly, what is that anger costing you? Anger is expensive. It taxes your energy, your focus, your clarity. It lives rent-free in your mind and makes you pay every hour. Is it worth it? Every night ask yourself one powerful question. Who am I still carrying? And when the answer comes, release them. Say it out loud if you must. Write their name. Breathe deeply. Forgive not to forget, but to free. Never sleep in the company of resentment. Your bed should be a sanctuary, not a battlefield. You weren't made to be ruled by bitterness. You were made to rule over it. That is your design. The man who forgives is not weak. He is wise, because he knows peace is not found in winning arguments, but in walking away without wounds. Bitterness is a prison with the door wide open. Most stay inside out of habit. But you can walk free. You just have to decide to. Let tonight be the night you throw the weight into the fire. Let it burn. Watch it vanish into smoke. And then rest. Not because the world is perfect, but because you chose peace anyway. So ask again before your head meets the pillow. What peace am I denying myself by holding on? And then let it go. Speak to yourself with honor. You hear more from yourself than from anyone else. Long after the meetings, the messages, and the noise of the day fade, one voice remains, yours. That quiet narration running beneath everything you do. That voice holds more influence than anyone's praise or criticism. And each night, just before the world finally quiets, that voice becomes the loudest. It echoes in your mind, filling the silence. So ask yourself this, what is it saying? Because that voice builds the borders of your future. Most people whisper things in their own heads they would never say to a friend. You're not enough. You failed again. You'll never change. These words become chains. And the cruelest part? We call it truth. But it's not. It's habit, conditioning, unexamined belief. So what if, just before sleep, you changed the script? What if you made your voice your ally instead of your enemy? You are not your mistakes. You are not your fear. You are not your weakest moment. You are not the voice of doubt that echoes from someone else's past rejection. You are becoming stronger, sharper, more awake. But becoming takes time, and what you tell yourself during that time shapes everything. So talk like someone who's growing, not someone who's giving up. Every night, before your eyes close, speak to yourself like someone who matters, because you do. Tell yourself what you've done well. Even the smallest win counts. Remind yourself that effort counts, that showing up counts. Don't let failure scream while progress whispers. Feed the voice that lifts you. It's not vanity, it's vitality. Your belief in yourself is the root of every transformation. You don't water a plant by cursing its roots. You don't make it grow by yelling at the soil. You feed it, you nurture it, you give it what it needs to stretch toward the sun. Your mind is no different. If all you offer it is shame and regret, how can you expect it to flourish? Speak life. Offer truth. Give yourself the words you've always needed. Say to yourself, I am learning. I am rising. I am refining. Say it even if it feels strange at first. Say it until it becomes normal. Then say it until it becomes natural. You are not faking it. You are forging it. Repetition is how roots grow deep, how beliefs take hold, and how new futures begin. One word at a time. No one else can do this for you. And if you wait for the world to believe in you before you believe in yourself, you'll wait forever. The world reflects what you project. It follows your lead. So lead with truth, with grace, with courage. Ask yourself, who will believe in me, if not me? And then answer it, out loud, boldly, and if not now, when? There's no better time than the quiet of night, no better place than your own heart. You have the power to rewire your self-image, to fuel your own fire, and it starts with the words you choose. Tonight, as you lie down, make your final words not a regret, but a declaration. You are becoming, and you will rise. Speak life, because you're listening. Count what you still have. You may not have conquered the world today. You may have missed the mark, heard words that stung, or seen plans fall apart. Maybe you felt unseen, unheard, uncelebrated. But before you let disappointment steal your peace, pause. Before you surrender your spirit to frustration, breathe. Shift your focus. Count not your failures, but what still remains, because you always have more than you think. Your value was never in your perfection, but in your perseverance. And tonight is your reminder. Did you wake up today? Did your lungs still pull in breath? Did your feet touch the floor? Did your mind still imagine, still reason, still reflect? Then you are not broken. You are blessed. You are still equipped, still able, still in the game. Do not measure your day by what collapsed. Measure it by what carried you. That heartbeat in your chest is not a sign of failure, it's permission to try again. Those people lie in bed counting what went wrong. They rewind the day like a painful tape, replaying missed opportunities, wrong turns, or harsh words. But that mindset doesn't lead to growth. It leads to depletion. Winners don't measure what's lost, they measure what's left. They sleep with their eyes on the next step, not the last stumble. They end the day not in defeat, but in gratitude for the tools they still hold. So each night, list what you still possess: your hands, your voice, your mind, your resilience. Maybe even a single person who believes in you, a past failure that taught you wisdom, a lesson burned into your soul. Write them down if you must. Speak them aloud. Anchor yourself in what is left, not what is missing, because what's left is enough to rebuild. When you focus only on lack, your soul forgets how to rise. It is dangerous to fall asleep feeling like a victim. Your dreams will shrink to fit your despair. You'll stop aiming high because you'll forget you're capable. But if you end the day in quiet appreciation, something shifts. Your mind doesn't close in fear, it opens in strength. And when dawn returns, you rise not with regret, but with readiness. Empires are not built by perfect days. They are built by persistent men. Men who use what remains. Men who keep moving forward on scraps, on grit, on unseen progress. They know that even the smallest spark can start a fire. That strength is not found in luxury, but in resourcefulness. You build with what is left. You rise with what remains. That is the blueprint of every comeback story. Ask yourself this tonight. What have I ignored that someone else would pray for? The job you call boring, someone else dreams of. The legs you complain are tired, someone else wishes they had. The breath you take for granted, someone's final wish. Gratitude changes everything. It humbles your heart. It reminds you, you are not empty. You are not alone. You don't need everything. You just need enough. Enough courage, enough clarity, enough belief to try again. You already have it. You just have to see it, recognize it, count it, then carry it into tomorrow. So ask yourself once more, do I have enough to begin again tomorrow? Yes, you do. Burn the lies you told yourself every day. A small war takes place inside your mind, not between good and evil, not between fact and fiction, but between two versions of you, the one that is real and the one that performs. The one that feels pain, doubt, longing, and the one that wears the smile, speaks the rehearsed line, does what's expected. It's a quiet, constant battle, and unless you pause to notice it, you'll forget who you really are underneath the mask. At night, the mask has no purpose. There's no stage, no audience, no competition, just you and the voice within. This is your rare chance to sit with your truth, the lies you told, the truths you buried, the excuses you dressed up as wisdom. If you want to grow, you must be brave enough to face them, because truth isn't comfortable, but it is cleansing. What did you tell yourself today that wasn't true? That you weren't good enough to try? That you needed more time? That what happened didn't bother you? These aren't innocent slips. These are quiet lies whispered into your soul like poison. And if you let them live unchallenged, they'll become your new identity. That's how men forget their strength. Not all at once, but one lie at a time. Tonight, call them out. Don't wait for the world to correct you. Correct yourself. Say, I lied today. I said I was tired, but I was afraid. I said I didn't have time, but I wasted it. I said I was over it, but I wasn't. These admissions will sting, but they will clean you, because nothing is more dangerous than lying to the person you see in the mirror, and after you confess, forgive yourself. Don't weaponize the truth against your spirit. The goal is not to shame yourself. The goal is transformation. Fire burns, but it also purifies. When you finally face your falsehoods, you create space to rebuild, to re-choose, to reimagine. The strongest men aren't those who never lie. They're the ones who refuse to keep living in one. The world rewards the polished, but your soul rewards the authentic. And if you want to build anything real, peace, power, purpose, you must build it on truth. No more pretending. No more acting like everything's fine when it's not. No more claiming you don't care just to protect your pride. Drop the mask. The man underneath is the one who matters. You cannot become who you're meant to be while hiding behind fiction. Fiction feels safe, but it's a trap. It cages your potential. It delays your destiny. Real growth begins when you say, I'm done pretending. I'm ready to become. That kind of honesty won't be easy, but it will be worth it, because truth fuels clarity, and clarity fuels change. This is not weakness, this is warrior work, and it happens not in front of others, but alone, on the pillow, in the mirror, in the silence of your mind. If you want to walk into the light tomorrow, you must first walk through your shadows tonight. Drag those lies into the open. They shrink when they see daylight. So tonight, ask yourself, what lie did I tell today that cost me my progress? Then answer honestly. Let the truth rise from your chest like smoke from fire. Then breathe it out. Replace it with something cleaner, something closer to the man you're becoming. You're not doing this for perfection. You're doing this for liberation. When the sun rises tomorrow, the world will try to hand you another mask, but you'll be stronger now, clearer. You'll walk into the day not as someone who hides, but as someone who knows. And knowing yourself is the beginning of real power. Not the loud kind, the quiet, unshakable kind. So now the question is simple. Are you willing to meet your truth? Because he's waiting, and he's worth becoming. Reconnect with what you want. Too many fall asleep with full bellies and empty purpose. They go through the motions, work, eat, sleep. But inside, they're fading. Their goals have become whispers. Their passions are buried under responsibility, routine, and resignation. Life moves, but their spirit stalls. They've learned to survive, but forgotten how to burn. Yet, even in the quiet, something stirs. A faint pull, a fire that refuses to die. You feel it too. And tonight is the night to remember. You were not born to merely exist. You were made to want, to hunger, to chase something meaningful with your whole being. That hunger is not a flaw, it's a signal. But over time, failure and fear disguise your desires. You start living by expectations instead of passion. Eventually, you forget what you once longed for, not because it vanished, but because you stopped looking. Don't let your life become silent inside. So tonight, find it again. Before your head hits the pillow, ask yourself honestly, what do I truly want? Not what's expected, not what impresses others, but what moves you. What idea, dream, or possibility still tugs at you in quiet moments? What have you pushed aside, not because it stopped mattering, but because you got tired of the fight? Desire, real desire, is worth revisiting, worth reclaiming. Maybe it's a dream you buried out of fear, a book never written, a journey never taken, a calling you paused to be practical. Maybe you told yourself it was too late, but it isn't. That spark still exists, and if you listen carefully, you can hear it. The fire hasn't left you, you've just gotten used to ignoring it. But now is the time to feed it again. Write it down, not tomorrow, now. Grab a pen or open your notes. Be bold, be honest. Name what you want, not what you think you're allowed to want. See it clearly. Let your imagination return. Let your heart be loud. Speak it out loud if you must. The act of saying it gives it power. Desire is not weakness, it is a compass, and you've had it all along. Too often, people confuse contentment with apathy. You can be grateful and still want more. Wanting more doesn't mean you're ungrateful. It means you're alive. Your desires are messengers. They point toward your purpose. Don't ignore them. Don't starve them with excuses. Reconnect with your reason every night until your vision becomes louder than your doubts. Until your hunger becomes louder than your hesitation. Do you still remember why you began? That first moment, the dream, the feeling, the hunger that started it all? Or have you let the world convince you to shrink, to settle, to believe that this is enough? Nothing will kill a fire faster than the lie that you've already missed your chance. The truth? As long as you breathe, it's not too late. Not even close. Your fire is still there, beneath the distractions, beneath the pressure, beneath the fear, and tonight it needs your attention. Even 5 minutes of intention can reignite something powerful. Purpose doesn't always roar. Sometimes it starts as a whisper, but when you answer, it grows. And soon it burns bright enough to light your entire path forward. You just have to begin. So before you sleep, look within, not at what's gone, but at what remains. The ember is still warm. The dream is still waiting. And the desire? It's not random. It's your soul reminding you that you're not done yet. Feed the fire. Speak your reason. Fan the flame with belief. It's not about where you are. It's about where you're still called to go. Tonight, don't sleep like a man who's finished. Sleep like a man who's just begun again, with fire in his heart and purpose on his breath. Let that fire guide you into tomorrow. Because your life doesn't need to be loud to be on fire. It just needs to be honest. Practice the art of letting go. There is a heavy bag most carry into bed each night, an invisible weight slung across the mind. It's filled with sharp words from others, awkward stumbles you replay, missed opportunities, disappointments you didn't expect, and pressure you placed upon yourself. This bag grows heavier the longer you carry it. But have you ever stopped to ask, why am I dragging this into my rest? The night was designed for release, not rehearsal, for peace, not punishment. You cannot rest fully while clinging to the wreckage of your day. You cannot lift tomorrow's weight while still holding on to yesterday's. Try carrying 2 burdens at once and you will collapse under the load. What you refuse to let go of will sabotage your strength. Rest is not just physical, it is mental. Your body may lie down, but if your mind still wrestles, you're not truly resting. So tonight, put the weight down. Letting go is not weakness, it is wisdom. It doesn't mean you stop caring, it means you start choosing what's worth carrying. A wise builder does not drag shattered bricks into a new construction. They sort, they discard, they begin again with what's solid. So why do you insist on building your future with the debris of today's pain? If you want stability, start with what's clean and clear. Ask yourself plainly, what upset me today? What felt like a sting? Who didn't show up for me? What didn't go as I hoped? Don't avoid these answers. Don't pretend they didn't matter. Name them. Bring them into the light of awareness. Because what is unnamed becomes unconscious, and what is unconscious controls you. You must see your weights before you can set them down. Now, once you've named them, release them one by one. Picture them as stones in your hand. Then imagine a wide river passing by. Place each stone, each insult, failure, regret onto the water. Watch it float away. You're not doing this because it didn't hurt. You're doing it because you refuse to carry it into your peace. You matter more than what happened to you today. This is not denial, this is discipline. Emotional freedom isn't about feeling nothing. It's about feeling everything and still choosing peace. The strong are not the cold-hearted. They are those who burn with emotion but do not let emotion bind them. They grieve, they bleed, they ache, but they release. Because clinging to pain is not loyalty, it's self-destruction. You were not built to cling. You were built to renew. Your spirit knows how to heal, but only if you give it space. Let tonight be that space. A clearing, a letting go. The end of a chapter, not the beginning of another loop. Every night is a doorway. You can walk through it with chains or with a clean soul. You decide. There is no strength in rehearsing pain. Repeating your lowest moments only reinforces them. And what you repeat, you believe. So change the rhythm. Shift the focus. Choose to recover, not reopen. Choose to reflect, not relive. What happened today already happened. The only power it has now is what you give it. So take your power back. Ask yourself, what am I refusing to release? What thought keeps revisiting you when the lights go out? What conversation do you keep rewriting in your mind? What emotion are you afraid to feel so you carry it silently instead? Don't be passive about this. Freedom doesn't arrive gently. It is taken. Take it by choosing to let go. Your peace is a boundary. It is a line in the sand where you say, not tonight, not in my rest, not in my sacred silence. You get to choose what enters your space. The day may bring chaos, but your night can still bring calm. You can't control every moment of life, but you can control what you sleep with, and this control will shape your life, because the man who ends his day clean starts his next day powerful. He rises with clarity, with strength unscattered by emotional clutter. This is where transformation begins, not in what you carry, but in what you leave behind. So tonight, be honest, be brave, take inventory, then let it go. You don't owe pain your loyalty. You don't owe disappointment a permanent place in your heart. You owe yourself peace. Rest is your right, but only if you stop carrying what doesn't belong. Ask yourself once more before you close your eyes, what will I refuse to carry into my rest tonight? And whatever your answer is, set it down. End the day with a vow. Every day is a chapter. It may be messy, victorious, confusing, or unfinished, but it's a chapter nonetheless. And every night is your final page. It's where you pause, reflect, and most importantly, decide, not in vague hopes or casual thoughts, but in vows. You get to choose how the next chapter begins. That choice does not belong to fate, to luck, or to anyone else. It belongs to you, but only if you seize it. A vow is not a wish. It's not a passing thought. It is a declaration, a promise to your future, etched with clarity and resolve. It's a line drawn in the sand where you say, enough! Tomorrow I rise. Tomorrow I act. Tomorrow I become. You're not hoping life will change. You're deciding that it must. And that power begins the moment you commit to something greater than comfort. What vow do you need to make tonight? To speak with more courage? To show up fully for your work? To stop apologizing for your value? To give more, fear less, or believe harder? Don't let the question float away unanswered. Say it. Write it. Stamp it into your mind like a crest. The soul remembers what the pen inscribes. The brain follows the words the heart repeats. Say to yourself, this is my vow, not for the crowd, not for praise, but for the deepest, truest part of you, the part still trying, still hoping, still reaching, even if your voice trembles, even if your confidence flickers. A vow made in weakness is still stronger than no vow at all, because action begins not with perfection, but with intention. Without a vow, you drift. You go wherever the day pushes you. You start the morning reactive, not proactive. But with a vow, you drive. You move through your day with purpose, with resolve, with inner alignment. You know what you're building. You know why you're saying no to distractions, because you said yes to something bigger. Even the greatest rivers begin as whispers, tiny streams underground, invisible to most. But they move, they carve, they create force with time. Your vow is that whisper. It may feel small tonight, but given consistency, it will cut through stone. That vow will shape your actions even when motivation fails, even when doubt screams. Vows don't depend on feelings, they depend on choice. You've made casual intentions before. We all have. I'll do better tomorrow. I'll get serious soon. But that's not a vow. A vow is sharper. It's sacred. It holds weight. It asks you to show up for yourself because you matter, because your time matters, because tomorrow is not owed to you. But if it comes, you will honor it. Tonight, don't just reflect on what went wrong. Don't end the day in regret. End it in resolve. Make a promise, not to the world, but to the part of you still becoming. That raw, unfinished version of you who wants more, who isn't done, who has another level waiting. Promise that you won't waste the gift of one more day. You might not control every outcome, but you do control your outlook. You control what you bring to the table tomorrow. Energy, focus, kindness, grit. These are choices, not circumstances. When you vow, I will bring more than I did yesterday, you take command. You become the author again, not the character being tossed by the plot. Don't let your vow be conditional, not based on mood, not based on how others treat you. Keep it because you said you would. Keep it because trust in yourself is the most powerful currency you have. When you trust yourself to follow through, confidence is no longer something you wait for. It becomes something you build daily. So before sleep, stand still. Breathe. Ask yourself, what kind of man do I want to be tomorrow? Then answer with a vow, not a fantasy, a decision, a commitment. Speak it, record it, feel it. Let it stir something ancient in your soul. Let it wake up the fire you've let flicker too long. And when morning comes, keep it. Not just for the results, not just for the finish line. Keep it for you, for the simple, sacred act of being someone who does what he says he will do. That is the man the world follows. That is the man you're becoming. One vow, one day, one night at a time. Do you trust yourself enough to make a vow? Or will you end this day the same as you did yesterday, waiting for change instead of becoming the change? The mirror doesn't lie. It reflects who showed up. So show up tonight with clarity, with courage, with conviction. Tomorrow is waiting for your vow. Will you make it? Correct the course before sleep. A sailor doesn't wait until morning to adjust his path. He checks the stars at night, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Because drift doesn't always feel like drift until the land is gone. You must do the same. Each evening gives you a rare and powerful window, a moment to ask yourself, am I still heading where I said I wanted to go? Not based on mood, not based on how tired you are, but based on alignment. Direction is more powerful than speed. Your feelings may lie to you, fatigue may cloud you, but facts do not. Ask yourself with courage, are my actions pulling me closer to my vision, or are they pushing me slowly off course? You can't fix what you won't face. The longer you wait to course correct, the more energy it takes to return. Don't let pride or routine keep you from clarity. Most people never stop to ask this question. They assume intention is enough. They confuse motion with direction. Day after day, they wake up, do their duties, react to the world, and hope it all adds up to progress. But drifting doesn't happen in storms. It happens in silence, in small, consistent neglect. It's not that they chose the wrong path. It's that they stopped checking the stars. You're not most people. You're reading this because something in you wants more. Something in you wants to stay awake, to stay intentional. That means you must reflect nightly, not to punish yourself, but to refine yourself. Ask, did I waste time today? Did I let fear win? Did I settle for easy when I should have reached for meaningful? These are not judgments, they are tools. This process is not about shame, it's about structure. Imagine you are building a great house. Every action is a brick. Every decision adds shape. If the wall bends even slightly and you ignore it, it will grow crooked, and eventually it will fall. That's what unexamined habits do to dreams. They distort your structure until everything collapses under its own weight. But what if, just like the sailor, you adjusted each night even slightly? What if you recalibrated before your head touched the pillow? 1 degree of change may not seem like much in the moment, but over time, it is the difference between arriving and being lost. That is how you build something solid, something true, a life that stands. So pause. Before the lights go out, sit with yourself, not in judgment, in curiosity. Ask, what did I ignore today that I shouldn't have? Where did I pretend not to care when I deeply did? What opportunity did I talk myself out of because it felt scary? These small questions uncover deep truths, and those truths are what guide course correction. This isn't a one-time event. This is a habit, a discipline. The people who build meaningful lives are not those who get it perfect every day. They're the ones who adjust every night. They are humble enough to admit when they've drifted, and wise enough to shift without shame. Their strength isn't their pace, it's their precision. Do you have the courage to admit when you're drifting? That's the question. Because the greatest danger is not being off course. The greatest danger is being too proud or too numb to notice. Self-honesty isn't always pleasant, but it's powerful. It saves time, it prevents damage, it keeps you honest with the man you're trying to become. Some nights the correction will be obvious. You'll know exactly what needs to shift. Other nights it will be subtle, a mental note, a slight redirection. But both are necessary. Tiny corrections now prevent massive rebuilds later. And if you're willing to do the quiet work of adjusting in the dark, You'll arrive in the light with confidence. This kind of reflection doesn't take hours. It takes a moment of stillness, a moment of ownership. When you do this regularly, something beautiful happens. You start living your days with more awareness. You catch yourself sooner. You drift less because you've trained yourself to care, to check your direction, not by default, but by design. Before your head touches the pillow, give yourself this gift. Don't end your day in distraction. End it in intention. Ask what needs to be done differently tomorrow. Forgive yourself for the detours. Then decide, with clarity, to do better, not for perfection's sake, but because your path matters, and every step shapes your future. If you keep doing this, keep correcting, keep refining, you won't need to panic when the storms come. You'll already be aligned. You'll already be aware. The great ones don't stumble into greatness. They steer into it, with hands steady, eyes clear, and hearts humble enough to say, "Today I drifted, but tonight I return." So here's your moment. Ask the question, am I still heading where I said I wanted to go? Then answer it honestly and adjust. The stars are still there, you just have to look. Envision the man you must become. You can't become what you can't see. Every man chasing greatness must first picture it. Every night, as the world quiets down, you are given a moment, a blank canvas to paint the life you're building. Not a fantasy, not an escape, but a vision. This moment is sacred. It separates the drifter from the designer, the man who hopes from the man who creates. Without vision, discipline has no direction, and without direction, effort is wasted. Close your eyes, go beyond the surface, see the man you were born to be, not the man others think you are, not the man shaped by circumstances or comparisons, and not even the one you see in the mirror. Look deeper. See the man who must emerge, the one your spirit whispers about, the one you would become if fear, laziness, and doubt weren't in the way. What does he look like? Not his clothes or his jawline, but his posture, his calm, his fire. How does he walk into a room? How does he speak? When he's praised or when he's challenged? How does he respond when the pressure mounts and all eyes are on him? That man does not flinch. He leads. He listens. He does not waste energy on proving. He embodies. You must hold that vision the way a soldier holds a map, with seriousness, with focus, because that image isn't a dream, it's a blueprint. Without it, you're wandering. You cannot become excellent if you cannot first imagine what excellence looks like in your life. You cannot grow into power if you've never seen what power could mean for you. This future version of you, he is disciplined, he doesn't chase pleasure, he guards his purpose. His emotions serve him. They don't command him. Under fire, he is calm. In leadership, humble. When challenged, precise. His thoughts are clean, not cluttered. His schedule is structured. His actions align with values, not moods. His word, unbreakable. And in his eyes, there is fire. Now pause and ask yourself, did I act like him today? Be honest. Did you move with clarity or drift in distraction? Did you guard your time or let the hours slip away? Did you speak with purpose or just to fill silence? This is not a time for guilt. This is a time for alignment. Only truth builds strength. If the answer is no, if you fell short, don't hide from it. Learn from it. Ask yourself, why not? Was it fear, comfort, a need for approval? Did you forget your aim or simply choose convenience over calling? Don't excuse it, expose it. Because clarity only comes when you confront the gap between who you are and who you're becoming. More importantly, ask, how will I embody him tomorrow? What will you change? How will you speak, walk, train, decide? What will you say no to just to protect the man you're sculpting? Don't let the image fade into wishful thinking. Let it ignite action. He's not waiting in the future. He's buried inside you now. Every night is a rehearsal, a mental gym. You don't drift into greatness, you train into it. Sleep is not just recovery, it's preparation. What you focus on before you sleep imprints on your subconscious. It programs your compass. So don't fall asleep as the man who coasted through the day. Fall asleep as the man preparing to dominate the next. You get to choose. Drift or design. React or become. The man you dream of is already within you. He exists in your moments of courage, in your glimpses of stillness, in that flicker of pride when you finish what you started. He is not an invention. He is a revelation, waiting for you to feed him discipline, focus, and follow through. You must give him the discipline to emerge, not once, every day, every night. Discipline is the doorway, not motivation, not feeling ready, but raw commitment to doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't want to. You build that man in dark hours when no one's watching. in how you close your day, in how you rise again. Vision without action is fantasy. Action without vision is chaos. But vision plus disciplined action, that's where transformation lives. Every night, visualize with detail. Then vow with fire. Don't let the image of your future self become a comfort poster. Let it become a contract, a silent oath you sign in thought and seal with behavior. As you lie down tonight, ask yourself again, am I moving toward him or away from him? If you're drifting, adjust. If you're aligned, double down. Hold the image, sharpen the standard. Prepare your mind, your body will follow. When morning comes, act like him. Not perfectly, but intentionally. Even 1 inch closer is victory. Greatness does not shout, it whispers. Do it again. So see him clearly, feel him deeply, then become him deliberately. Because he's not a dream, he's your destiny. Give thanks for your struggles. Most people thank life for the easy days, the warm beds, the good meals, the smooth conversations. But if you are wise, you'll thank life for the pain. You'll give gratitude not just for the comfort, but for the challenge. Because challenge is where you're carved. It's where your rough edges are chiseled, where your strength is tested, and your character revealed. Growth isn't born from convenience. It's forged in the fires you'd rather avoid. That's why pain, though unwelcome, is essential. Each night before you sleep, reflect on what challenged you. Who got under your skin? What situation didn't go your way? What failure, delay, or disruption pulled you off balance? Don't dismiss these things as unfortunate. Study them. These moments are not distractions from your path. They are the path. They are today's teachers, often disguised as setbacks, but actually pushing you into alignment. Who irritated you? Who triggered something in you that you thought you had already mastered? That's not a person to resent. It's a mirror to respect. They showed you where your ego still clings, where your peace still fractures. What didn't go as planned? Good. Plans are guesses. Character is built when your script falls apart and you must improvise with purpose. That's how real men are made. What humbled you today? A mistake, a loss, a correction? That moment, painful as it may have been, stripped away the illusion of control. It reminded you that you are not perfect, but also that you are still learning. That's not shameful, that's sacred. Because humility isn't the end of power, it's the beginning of wisdom. And wisdom is what builds unshakable men. Nothing sculpts you like resistance. Easy days feed your comfort, hard days feed your strength. Think of your most valuable traits. Resilience, focus, grit, discipline. Did any of those grow when things were easy? No. They were born in discomfort, in effort, in adversity. A man's strength is never proven when he is rested, only when he is tested. So welcome the test. Look back at the bruises you collected today and ask, what did this reveal in me? Did that delay show you your lack of patience? Did that conflict show you where you still react instead of respond? Did that rejection uncover where you still seek approval too much? Every wound is a message, if you're willing to listen instead of complain. What did this demand of me? Did it demand courage, but you hesitated? Did it demand silence, but you lashed out? Did it demand grace, but you judged? These aren't failures. They are flags, signals of what must be trained, sharpened, and refined. They point toward the man you say you want to become. That's why adversity is never wasted, unless you ignore it. You either grow from adversity or you groan through it. Most men groan. They see hardship as punishment. They carry a victim mindset, thinking life is unfair. But the wise man knows better. He doesn't curse what challenges him. He respects it. He doesn't chase an easier life. He builds a stronger self. And that makes all the difference. Most people curse the things that shape them, but not you. You are learning to thank them. Because growth doesn't come wrapped in silk or spoken softly. It comes wrapped in difficulty. It shows up in storms, in critics, in rejections. You're not growing despite the thorns. You're growing because of them. Embrace that. Own that. So tonight, say thank you, not just for the good moments, but especially for the hard ones. Thank you to the storm that made you steady. Thank you to the critic who made you sharper. Thank you to the delay that forced you to develop patience. These aren't curses. They are craftsmen shaping you one hit at a time. Recognize the hidden gifts in your discomfort. Look past the pain and into the lesson. Find the purpose behind the frustration. That's how you reclaim power. Because when you begin to appreciate difficulty, you become unstoppable. You stop running, you start growing. And no matter what life throws at you, you rise with more fire than before. You are not punished when you face difficulty. You are prepared. The trials you experience are sharpening your instincts, upgrading your emotional armor, and teaching you how to stand when others fall. The battle you are in right now may not feel like a blessing, but it's building something in you that nothing else could. You must ask yourself, do I see the purpose in my pain? Or am I still praying for ease, for soft lessons, for gentle transformation? True greatness doesn't arrive wrapped in comfort. It arrives covered in sweat, born in battle, earned in silence. Pain, properly used, is preparation. And if you're willing, it becomes your ally. Stop asking for an easy life. Start asking for the strength to carry what is hard, because that strength will take you places ease never could. That strength will build the future you dream of. And every night you get to reflect, recalibrate, and say, thank you. Thank you for what hurt. Thank you for what helped. Thank you for what shaped me. Withdraw from the opinions of the world. The world talks all day. It praises, mocks, flatters, accuses. It builds you up with compliments, then tears you down with criticism. One moment you're a hero, the next you're a villain. This is the rhythm of public opinion. If you're not careful, you'll begin to live by that rhythm, responding to every comment, adjusting for every glance. And in doing so, you lose the most sacred thing you possess, yourself. Because no outer voice should ever speak louder than your inner one. At night, you must return to yourself. Not just for peace, but for clarity. After a day of being pulled in every direction by opinions, expectations, and judgments, you need stillness. Not sleep driven by exhaustion, but reflection born from truth. This is the hour when masks fall, crowds disappear, and your real identity steps forward. And if you don't reconnect now, you'll wake up already out of alignment. You must withdraw, not physically, but mentally, from the world's noise. Let go of what they said, what they didn't say, how they reacted, what they assumed. Because if you sleep with their voices in your head, you will wake up their servant. You'll find yourself chasing approval before you've even had a chance to think. And you weren't made to be a puppet to public opinion. Ask yourself honestly, did I say what I needed to say today, or only what was safe? Did I act out of conviction or out of convenience? Did I pursue what was right or what would earn applause? These aren't small questions. These are the questions that determine who you become, one day at a time, one decision at a time. You cannot live freely while depending on the approval of others. That's a spiritual contradiction. Freedom means self-command, and that means not being ruled by smiles or frowns. If your worth rises or falls with someone else's reaction, you are not walking your path. You are walking theirs. And no one ever made history by being liked by everyone. So retreat, not in defeat, but in discipline. Return to the quiet space within, the place untouched by critics or fans. In silence, remember who you are. Not based on praise, not based on blame, but based on principle. Ask, what do I stand for? What am I building? Who do I answer to when no one is watching? Those are your anchors. You were not made to live in reaction. You were made to act with intention, to lead your life, not follow others' opinions of it, to speak with clarity, not with caution, to move toward your purpose, not drift into people-pleasing. This is how the strong live, not with loudness, but with clarity of self. You deserve that clarity, but you must choose it. Tonight, detach. Let the world chatter. Let the noise pass like wind. Don't chase it, don't fight it, just release it. And let your spirit quiet, because the deeper truth always whispers, never shouts. It is found in stillness, in your breath, in your conscience. That's where real power lives, not in their applause, but in your alignment. You don't need permission to become what you are destined to be. You don't need a vote, a like, or a retweet to live your truth. Greatness was never a popularity contest. It was always a process of choosing yourself, again and again, no matter who approved. The boldest men in history often stood alone, but they stood firm. Have you allowed the noise to blind your purpose? Has your clarity gotten clouded by opinion? Has your focus slipped into reaction? If so, it's not too late. It never is. You just need to turn inward again. The compass is still there. The voice is still clear, but you must mute the outer world to hear the inner one. Turn off the commentary. Pause the feedback loop. Put down the need to impress. This night is yours. Reclaim it. Use it to realign, to remember what matters, to detach from what doesn't. This is not retreat, it is recalibration. You're not hiding from the world, you're anchoring yourself so you can face it with strength tomorrow. Every night offers you a quiet reset, a return, a sacred space where no one else gets a vote. Just you, your thoughts, your truths, and your intention for tomorrow. Use it. Don't let the day end in noise. Let it end in naming who you are and claiming who you will become. So tonight, before you sleep, ask yourself, did I move with intention or merely react? Did I stand in truth or shrink for approval? Did I follow the world or follow my calling? And whatever the answers are, let them guide your realignment. Because the man who wins is not the one who's loudest in the crowd, but the one who walks in silence with certainty, not needing permission, not needing praise, just purpose. Return to yourself and rise again, undivided. Plant one thought worth waking up for. Most people don't end their day, they fade into it. They collapse, numb, tired, defeated. Their final thoughts are not chosen, they're inherited. Leftovers of stress, fragments of fear, echoes of what went wrong. They fall asleep next to guilt, wrapped in worry, blanketed by regret, and then they wonder why they wake up slow, heavy, or lost. But you must not allow that. You must plant the night. You must command the close of the day with intention, because sleep is not escape, it's preparation. What you think before you sleep becomes the soil of your tomorrow. You are sowing something, always. Either weeds or fire, either silence or power, either defeat or direction. The mind never fully shuts off. It doesn't rest. It reloads. It keeps whispering even when your body turns cold and still. The question is, what is it whispering? You don't need to think 1,000 thoughts. You need one. A seed, a line, a statement so rooted in meaning that it holds its shape through the night and rises with you in the morning. It could be a mission, a vow, a reminder. Something that says, I am still becoming. Something that says, this story isn't over. Because the last thought becomes the first. If the last thing you say to yourself is weak, your momentum will be weak. If it's filled with shame, you will rise in self-doubt. If it's soaked in fear, you'll step into the day like a prisoner. But if it's fire, if it's purpose, then your next day begins with a charge. That's the difference between drifting through life and driving through it. Write it down. Speak it out loud. Let it become ritual. Let it settle into your bones. You're not just ending a day, you're anchoring your direction. While others snore in confusion, you sleep with purpose. While others float in the dark, you burn under your breath. So what will your phrase be? Will it be, I will not waste this life? Or I still have fight in me? Or perhaps, I am not done yet. Whatever it is, it must belong to you. It must mean something. Don't pick a phrase that sounds nice. Choose one that wakes your blood. A phrase that points to your highest self. A phrase that reminds you of who you refuse to become. Do you know what men of power do before they sleep? They do not chase noise. They seal their mind with intention. They pick their final thought. Like a warrior sharpens a blade. They do not allow the day to end by accident. They end it by design, because they understand night is not surrender. Night is strategy. Even in sleep, they prepare, they rise with more focus, not because they were born different, but because they rest differently. They end with strength. They begin with strength. This is why they stay ahead, not because they're better, but because they command their mind while others neglect it. You must become that kind of man. A man who does not fear quiet. A man who is not ruled by the noise of the day. A man who meets the night like a builder, like a sculptor, like a general planning battle at dawn. You must meet the night with a question, not distraction. Ask yourself, what am I aiming at? If you cannot answer that, you are not resting, you are drifting. If you do not plant a thought before bed, the weeds will come, they always do. Doubt, distraction, fear. These are the wild seeds of the unfocused mind, and once they take root, they do not stop growing. So tonight, choose your root thought. One sentence, one truth, one force that pulls you into tomorrow with precision. Maybe it's a line from a prayer. Maybe it's a vow to your family. Maybe it's a reminder to become the man you once promised yourself you'd be. Let it burn behind your eyes as you sleep. Let it hold you. The world belongs to men who carry purpose even when unconscious. A lion does not dream of fear. He dreams of territory, of strength, of movement. So should you, not because you are perfect, but because you are becoming. Not because it's easy, but because you refuse to surrender your mind even in rest. This world tries to distract you by day and disarm you by night. It wants your morning slow, your mind fogged, your heart undecided. And it succeeds if you forget to end the day with power. But if you hold the line, if you anchor that thought, if you whisper it like a warrior's prayer, then tomorrow is already yours. So what will it be Tonight, what words will you carry into the dark? What sentence will sharpen you through sleep? This is your nightly armor. This is your mental compass. This is your flame. Choose it. Plant it. Let it rise with the sun. Let the weak wake up searching for clarity. You will wake with direction, with intention, with fire. So again, I ask, what thought will you end the day with? And will it carry you like a flame into morning? Review the standard you set. Every man walks by a code, either one he chooses or one handed to him by the world, one carved with intention or one absorbed through comfort and convenience. The difference? One makes you a builder, the other makes you a borrower. And every night before sleep, you must ask yourself, did I live by the standard I claim to hold? Not to judge yourself, but to anchor yourself. Because your code is not for public display, it's for private battle. And the hardest battles are fought alone. Your code is not a quote you recite when things are easy. It's not for speeches. It's not decoration. It is a law you carry into every room, every task, every breath. It guides you when no one's clapping. It holds you steady when the lights are off. It tells you what's beneath you and what is worth fighting for. It shows in how you speak when you're angry, in how you act when you're tired, in how you respond when no one's watching. It's not the standard you preach, it's the one you practice. Do you protect your time like it's sacred? Do you treat your word as a bond? Do you walk away from things that stain your character, even if no one else would know? This is what separates men who rise from men who rot. Ask yourself tonight, did I protect my time? Did I speak with honor? Did I treat others as I want to be treated, even when I didn't feel like it? These are not small questions. They are check-ins with your soul. Most men never ask. They drift. They imitate. They follow without ever questioning the direction. Not because they are evil, but because they are unaware. And unaware men become tools of other people's agendas. But you must be awake. You must decide what you stand for. Not once, not twice, but every day. Carve your code in stone, not in sand. Because the world is a storm, and storms blur the lines. If you don't revisit your code, you'll forget it. And when you forget it, you fall. Slowly at first, then all at once. And fallen men always wonder how it happened. It happened because they lost their standard. And a man without a standard has no spine. He bends to pressure. He bows to flattery. He breaks under weight. The man who forgets his code becomes someone he once swore he'd never be. So tonight, you must remember. You must look back at your day, not to feel guilt, but to make sure your compass still works. Are you still facing north, or have you quietly drifted? The drift happens in tiny decisions. When you say yes out of fear, when you let a lie slide, when you let your schedule get filled with someone else's plan, these small fractures become wide breaks. The man who once stood tall now shrinks without knowing why. That's why your review must be daily. Your standard must be alive. Revisit your code like a warrior checks his armor. Check for cracks, for leaks, for weak spots. Ask, did I protect my values today or trade them for convenience? Did I say something I would not respect in another man? This is how you grow, not by perfection, but by alignment. You are not aiming to be flawless. You are aiming to be faithful to your values. Because your code is not about being right, it's about being real. A man with a code walks differently. He speaks with weight. He looks people in the eye, not with arrogance, but with clarity. He knows what he will and won't tolerate. He knows what to walk away from, what to kneel for, what to stand for. And in a world of fog, he becomes a signal fire. People may not always agree with you, but they'll know where you stand. Most men are unreadable. They shift based on who they're around. They agree with everyone. They fear judgment more than failure. But you must choose something higher than approval. You must honor something deeper than applause. Your code is your personal law, and you are the only enforcer. No one else will hold you to it. So you must hold yourself daily. Hold yourself when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. Your real code shows not when things go your way, but when they don't. In rejection, in delay, in failure. That's when your spine is tested, and you either stand firm or fold quietly. Let your standards speak louder than your mood. Tonight, revisit your law, not for pride, for direction. What is your line? Your vow? Your rule? If you don't know it, you're already losing, and if you know it but don't live it, you're in self-betrayal. The world doesn't need another loud voice. It needs more solid men, quiet, clear, anchored, and those men are rare because they review their code every night. So, what about you? Do you know the rules you claim to live by, and are you brave enough to measure yourself against them? Not for perfection, but for progress. If your answer is no, then tomorrow is your chance. And if your answer is yes, then tonight is your test. Hold the mirror, ask the question, and then go to bed with clarity. Observe how you responded to pressure. Pressure doesn't create character, it exposes it. You may talk of values, strength, or control, but it's not your words that tell the truth. It's how you act when things break. When life is smooth, anyone can seem disciplined, but the real you, the unedited version